On the call.
You have a great group here this morning, Sarah. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the United Way of Greater Greensboro Family Success Center's Investors Meeting. We are so grateful that you are joining us today to learn more about our FSCs. We do call them FSCs sometimes, and also to learn about what we've accomplished over the past year. And so today, several things are going to happen. First of all, I'm going to present to you annual data outcomes, and we'll also take a moment to watch a quick video that highlights the FSC's impact. We'll also have a moderated Q&A period with our FSC coaches. And last but not least, we'll open the meeting up for your questions. And I hope that you all have some good ones. Now, if at any time during our meeting you have a question, please type it in the chat box and we'll do our best to answer it at the end of today's meeting. And as Sarah pointed out earlier, for those who are on now and those perhaps who are now logging on, please just take a second look to make sure that your lines are muted. We want to make sure that we cut down all the background noise. But again, if you have any questions at all, just please feel free to put those in the chat box and we will do our level best to get to those before we conclude today. Now, before we get started formally, I want to express my sincere gratitude to you for your ongoing support of our Family Success Centers. Now, you are to us investors, and as investors, you have chosen to create a lasting impact on this community. And as you will see today, you are indeed making a difference. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for your intellect. I want to thank you for being a champion of this great work. You have to know that we really could not do this work without you, and our success really is your success. And speaking of success, let's just take a moment to celebrate what you made possible last year at our Family Success Center. So at this time, I'm going to turn things over to our manager of Family Success Center's family, Sarah Glover, who will take you through some of our outcomes from last fiscal year. Sarah, all yours.
Thank you, Kari. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Just in case there are a few people here who are not already familiar with our Family Success Center's model, it's, in a nutshell, it's a family-friendly one-stop shop for services in education, financial education, employment, and even health and wellness. FSCs help the entire household forge their unique path out of poverty. We start at their starting point, blend and integrate services to leverage their strengths and help them meet their goals. The model for Family Success Centers was designed by us here at United Way of Greater Greensboro, and we fund our 2 centers in Greensboro 100%. They are through lead partnerships with organizations who operate the FSCs at their locations, and you'll hear from the staff at both of those FSCs today. Having all services under one roof, if you will, is part of the unique appeal of the FSC and has been since we started. And when COVID stopped us from all getting under that same roof together, we had to adapt. The pandemic has slowed some aspects of our work, but the core operations have not stopped at all. There have been many accomplishments. And despite the challenges of going virtual, our FSC staff, coaches have stayed connected to the members, and members have stayed connected to us and each other. In all, during fiscal year 20 to 21, there were 993 adults and children served during that year, second year of the pandemic. 67 adults who were seeking employment got new or better jobs during this public health and economic firestorm. And think about that, all that that takes. Jobs are the core of our mission to end poverty. And we should celebrate new jobs with great enthusiasm, and we do. But I want you to know that's not all we focus on at the FSCs. We focus on all the supports that help a person get and keep a job and move up the economic ladder and do the same for their children. So we had 64 adults complete money management classes, 80 families get household hygiene or food supplies for their basic needs, which was critical. 10 members so far enrolled in post-secondary degree or career certification programs, and 7 of them completed those post-secondary credentials. 1 person earned their GED during the pandemic. 28 members engaged in virtual Zumba. 18 families got help from the Cone Health congregational nurses. 20 members completed virtual parenting workshops. 34 children attended summer day camp in a COVID-safe environment in 2021 through our partnership with Prolific Park and Boys and Girls Clubs. 37 members joined our life skills support group with behavioral health partner, Peace of Hope Foundation. All of these accomplishments are added to the ongoing legacy of success that you, our investors, have made possible. And I just want you to know, looking back even farther to see how many people we have been able to touch through your investment since March 2015, when we started the first FSC, it's 1,701 people representing 534 households, 948 children, and 753 adults. And of the members engaged in outcome-specific programming, 50% of the members seeking employment have got that new or better job. 24% so far who are seeking to further their education have earned the GEDs and certifications. 74% have healthier lifestyles. 47% have better money habits. 93% of FSC families have received high quality childcare. And 38% of the children had those enriching summer camp experiences, sometimes their very first. What's not included in all those numbers is the overall sense of accomplishment that members feel. The sense of joining another family, a supportive family. Our members feel like they belong to a community. We are part of that community with them. The texts, emails, and phone calls they receive from their coaches and the directors themselves even have kept them going through 2 rough years. Now, I know some of you are saying, I love the data, but where's the heart of this work? What does it really mean to an FSC member to be part of this? Well, let's take a moment to answer some of those questions that you have by watching a short video interview with one of our members, Ms. Tracy Morgan, and her success coach, Shanae McDuffie. Ms. Morgan is a school bus driver and has been with the county school system for over 30 years, and she's raising her 11-year-old son. Play the video.
How I got started with Family Success Center is they had an event at the Boys and Girls Club. And they had set out a table, I guess what the services are in Greensboro. So, and I just inquired. And and I got started that way. And they told me about some of the things they offer, and one of them was financial literacy. Before the program, I was kind of struggling about my financial freedom. First day in the program, I was welcomed by the staff that runs the Family Success Center. Very friendly. They were very thorough. Started with that with financial boot camp. And from then on, I went on with the IDA program. And my goal is for home ownership. I like the interaction. We could only interact by phone. But my coach was thorough in checking up on me, and that's the best way they could. So I think they did the best they could, and she was thorough in keeping in contact with me, making sure everything was going all right with me and my family.
It was an instant connection. She knew exactly what she wanted, which made working with her in her goal plan very easy for me. We started steps right away, got her into the money boot camp class the very next day, and she was headed forth to working her plan.
I started saving money, getting an emergency fund, working on goals, setting those goals, and accomplishing some of those goals. And because I had a coach behind me that was there to encourage me, I had someone to encourage me, not me just doing it on my own, that made the difference for me to continue on and getting my financial freedom and working on my goals.
It's that integrated service delivery where we all have the plan, we all know our roles, and when she's talking to me, I'm following back through with her instructor is talking to me. So we're working together just to see her through, because at the end of the day, we would love all our families to win.
Thank you. I'm glad you're a part of my life. I really am thankful for especially my coach.
I'm definitely looking for the day that I'll walk through her house.
It's really great, Sarah. Thank you for sharing that information, and of course for sharing the video with us as well. And I hope as investors, you all can clearly see just how your support is changing people's lives. Now, Ms. Morgan and her family really is just one example of the many, many households that you're helping through your investments of the Family Success Centers. And we really do appreciate all that you've done up to this point to contribute to the success, of course. And thanks to you, we are creating brighter futures for hundreds of children, adults, and families. And as investors, I really want to give you a glimpse of where our Family Success Centers are headed this year, based on the successes that we've had leading up to this point since 2015. So first of all, we're going to be increasing our capacity of our Family Success Centers to serve more families. We're going to be doubling down on the idea of both tracking and reporting data so that we can increase and fine tune our successes. Now, before 2021, each Family Success Center had its own different assessment tool used to measure success. But our new official United Way of Greater Greensboro Family Success Center assessment collects data on 24 indicators across multiple domains of life, reflecting our holistic approach to breaking the cycle of poverty. This new assessment that I'm talking about leverages a self-sufficiency matrix based on best practice tools from around the country. And there are now 4 primary outcomes that are proven to holistically work together to equip people to overcome poverty. First of all, as you can see, passing educational milestones that lead to career development. The second outcome has to do with obtaining jobs that lead to family sustaining incomes. The third one is generating adequate household income to meet basic needs. And then the fourth is building strong financial capability for stability and growth. Now, within each of those outcome goals is a host of supporting indicators that underpin financial success, including health, living environment, legal situations, relationships, et cetera, et cetera. With this new approach, our Family Success Centers are poised to accomplish even greater outcomes than before. And at the end of the day, we will be better equipped to identify, evaluate, and respond to strategic needs. And our boots on the ground will be taking on the lead efforts of our renewed Family Success Center data collection, and tracking will be tracking department will be in the very capable hands of our very own Sarah Glover, who we just heard from before we watched the video. Now, Family Success Center directors Jay Webb and Crystal King have joined us today. Hi, Jay. Hi, Crystal. And they'll be leading their Family Success Center coaches through a panel discussion. So Sarah, Crystal, Jay, I know we're all looking forward to hearing more from you. So please take it away with the Q&A and the panel.
Thank you, Kari. Thank you again to everyone for being here. And for everyone who's joined us to help give you this inside look into how our FSC success coaches make the magic happen. By the way, our coaches at the Family Success Center are trained in a model called family-centered coaching. It's a perfect fit for us. It was developed by the Kellogg Foundation. Jay Webb is the director of our first Family Success Center at Guilford Child Development, and Crystal King is the director of our second Family Success Center based at Salvation Army Center of Hope. They will moderate the panel. I have to say, I couldn't be prouder of the teams doing this deep and important work. I'm so impressed by them, and I'm excited that you'll get to meet some more of them today. Coaches, you are the not so secret weapon of the FSCs against the frustration and isolation of poverty. Thank you for all you do. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. Let's first meet the coaches. the stars of the show. I will call your name, and if you could just unmute and briefly say hi to the audience, that would be great. I'm calling their names, by the way, in the order of their tenure with the FSC. So first is Katina Madison from FSC1 at Guilford Child Development.
Hello, everybody. A lot of you know me. I've been around a long time. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Katina. And next is Jamie Fuller, our lead coach at FSC2 at Salvation Army.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you, Jamie. Then Shanae McDuffie, also from FSC2 at Salvation Army.
Good morning, everyone.
And then Grace Kelly from FSC1 at Guilford Child Development.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here.
Thank you. And Miranda Johnson is our newest coach from FSC1 at Guilford Child Development. Just unmute and say hello. Yeah.
Hi, I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone. Hello.
Thank you. And from here, I'm going to hand it over to Jay Webb to kick off the panel, and then you'll get back to me later on. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to be here, and it's always a pleasure to be in a room full of individuals who have that same common goal in mind to push our community forward. I'm going to take the time to ask a few questions of the coaches from FSC1. And I'd like to start out with Grace. Grace, as you know, coaching is an integral part in keeping our members engaged and on track. In your own words, what does coaching really look like at the Family Success Center, and how do you describe it?
Good morning, everyone. Great question, Jay. Coaching is based on the relationship that we form with our members. These relationships are individualized based on that member's circumstances, and we meet them where they are to craft goals and action plans to get them to attain what they think is success. I would describe coaching as a thought-provoking relationship in which members are inspired by their coaches to maximize their professional and personal development, while also setting and obtaining the goals and managing their personal changes that they like to see.
Wow, Grace, I couldn't have said that better. That is actually the format that we use. And thank you for that response. Katina, as you mentioned, you are one of the individuals who have been with me since I started this. I want to ask you, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what are the most common barriers that members have to get over? And what are some of the less obvious ones that some of us here might not know?
Well, first and foremost, the most common question our members have is childcare. Adequate childcare for their non-school age children, after school care, and also, in the evening care. So childcare is number one for sure. The lack of education and job skills is really a high priority, in today's job market. Transportation is an issue, but the least, most common barrier that a lot of people just didn't realize was the lack of the internet and Wi-Fi services. Technology is so important for our members, for their children, for members to work from home or study online. So technology is definitely an important aspect. Thank you.
Wow, Katina, you hit that right on the head because, even with our school system and our families having to teach their kids at home, we found out that a lot of our members weren't prepared and didn't have all the resources they needed. Last but not least, Miranda, you've only been with us a few weeks, but can you share with us what drew you to the work and what are you looking forward to with the Family Success Center?
Yes, well, good morning. Well, Jay, I believe we all have responsibility to contribute to society, and my contribution is empowerment. So by empowering disadvantaged communities, I hope to see their advancement. And through my work with FSC, I hope to make an impactful contribution towards eradicating generational poverty. I understand there will be some challenges in serving this population, yet it's imperative to ensure change is feasible for the success of families in our community. Yeah. Thank you.
Great answer. I really think you epitomize what true coaches and their values are. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for all the work that you've done in 2021. And I'm excited about 2022, and I'm looking forward to the new and change that we'll have to implement. Crystal?
Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much, Jay, Katina, Grace, and Miranda, for those wonderful responses. I'm super excited about the opportunity for our coaches, for you all to be able to hear directly from our coaches about the work that is happening at the Family Success Centers. And we'll start off with the coaches from FSC2. And Shanae, we'll go to you first. How would you describe what our members, as well as you, get out of coaching? What do you feel like the actual impact of this coaching relationship is?
Well, when coaching, I feel both myself and the member gets that shared learning experience. We are working together for a common goal. So our communication skills become enhanced. We figure out what works, what doesn't work for that particular member when they're going through their goals. We build upon each other. We're each other's accountability partner. So I respect what they're doing. They respect what I'm doing because we're working together to meet that need. The impact of coaching is to empower the families. We provide support when there may be little to none available to them. It allows them to have personal growth, self-awareness, and we provide them with skills that they can utilize and pass on to years to come. Coaching is not picking and saying they're doing something wrong. It's just allowing them to see it under a new lens. It provides them clarity, and with clarity, that becomes impactful.
Thank you so much, Shanae. It's very important to understand how that relationship works and knowing that we're in this together. The member is in the driver's seat, they're setting those goals and they're moving forward and pushing forward. But at the end of the day, we want to empower them to be able to sustain and do what they need to do to get to their next phase. And so, Jamie, the FSC has so many different services that are offered, and it takes a long-term approach. What would you say to people in the community who might wonder, why do we need all of this? People just need a job to get out of poverty, and that's all.
Well, what I would say to those community members is that a job alone does not automatically move anyone out of poverty. As Ms. Katina stated earlier, there are many underlying barriers and issues that people face when they come into our program. And if employment is the goal, then what we do is we focus on what do they need to obtain a job. And the most important thing is what do they need to be able to maintain employment. And this is where the coaching through the FSC comes in to provide our members to a variety of services to eliminate their barriers. And this can include job readiness courses, also career development workshops, also financial educational workshops, GED preparation courses, and other health and wellness supports that focus on the whole person, as well as focus on the whole household, and all other issues that may contribute to their situation. Now, of course, we know that nothing happens overnight, and it takes patience from all parties that are involved. And also it takes continuous support from the FSC and its partners. And this is why the long-term approach works best combined with all of the different services that we offer to get our members on that path out of poverty. And then once they have got out of poverty, with this long-term approach, it allows us to also provide additional services to help them maintain their stability and propel their growth.
Thank you so much, Jamie. That's a great answer. It's definitely about getting in that job, but we also want to make sure that we put those wraparound supports in place so that they're able to maintain employment and become financially stable. And again, Shanae, we're going to go back to you for our next question. What are some of the turning points that you see in a member as they grow and become more self-sufficient while working with the Family Success Center?
The turning points that I noticed within the members as they become more self-sufficient, they no longer rely on the coach to solve the problem. They are coming to the coach in a place where they're showing you, like, look what I've done. I've solved this. and they're learning different ways to maneuver through life. You would notice that their confidence and self-esteem is increased. They take pride in their accomplishments, and they're hungry and determined to add additional goals on to just expand their lifestyle for themselves as well as their families. Our members are taking ownership of their own lives, and they want to talk about it with the coach. They want to say, listen, any new challenges that come my way, I know how to handle them now. And I'm walking along with you to do so. So.
Absolutely. That was a great response, Shanae. It's a great thing to be able to see as someone comes in and maybe in a bad position with their situation, and to be able to start to make strides towards their goals and to be able to come out on the other side of that, where they're now just providing you with updates. It really changes the dynamic of the relationship, and it's really powerful to see. Super excited about what's going to happen next with some of those other members who are right there at the edge of making those next steps towards success and getting on that path out of poverty. And so, Sarah, if we do have a little bit more time, I would actually like to ask a question of all of the coaches. I think we do. So briefly, in 1 or 2 words, if you could tell us what your favorite thing is about your role as a coach. And we can start back with Katina.
Well, I think when I communicate, the communication aspect of talking to our members and realizing that they are listening to what we are advising them to do, that's very rewarding, because we can give a lot of feedback, but if we don't see them follow through, then, you know, it's a little disappointing. So when we see them listening and following what we've asked them to do, that's very rewarding.
Grace?
I'll agree that the follow through for our members is very rewarding. When a member comes to you and brings a lot of what they're experiencing, but doesn't see a way out, it can get a little heavy as a coach. You want to take it all on. But knowing that we have the tools to instill in them, and for those tools to be instilled in their children, and seeing that process kind of start, and how Shanae was saying, kind of seeing them say, I did this, I accomplished this, and knowing you had a hand in that would be my answer.
And Miranda, I know you're still new, but would you have anything that you'd like to add?
Sure. Can you repeat your question, please?
Just a couple of words just to show why, or what your favorite thing is so far with you. What is your favorite thing about coaching?
I think the connection piece, understanding that we are all interconnected. So the impact on, of course, my impact is going to help them become self-sufficient, vice versa. They're going to be able to help their kids and become sustainable adults in their environment. And so on, just the longevity of the success of the family. That's what I love, how we're all interconnected.
Okay. And next we will go to Jamie.
Yes, I think what I enjoy about it is seeing the joy that's received, that I feel, and also that the members feel once they see themselves have progressed and reached their success on their terms, and that we were just there to be that support and that anchor for them when they needed it.
Awesome. And last but most certainly not least, we have Shanae.
I would say the word is growth. You see them when they first walk into the door, and then as they progress, you see the changes. And when you finally get to that peak and see where they are today, it's like, wow, I remember where we started. And also personal growth for myself as a coach. We're growing and learning just as long as they are. And we're going to continue to learn and grow, because that's what makes us better.
Great. Thank you so much, Shanae, and thank you to all of the coaches. for your wonderful responses and the amazing work they're doing in the community. And we will turn it back over to Sarah.
Thank you. You know what my favorite part of the FSC is this staff. This team is just the best. And there are some more people here who are not coaches on the panel that I want to name and acknowledge on our FSC staff. We have Tawanda Johnson, who is the assistant director at FSC2, and she's waving at you. And we also have Ambria Webster, who is our lead childcare teacher from FSC2. Also not present on the call, but an integral newer part of the team is a childcare teacher at FSC1 named Paukler Wah, who is actually connected to the FSC member family. And we're excited for her to take on this new role. So one of the things I wanted to say, other than wow and thank you, is that if you like what you hear about our FSC coaches, spread the word. We are looking, as Kari said, to double the number of our coaches in the coming year. So we have positions open at both FSCs. And I am even more excited about what we can do when we expand this aspect of our work. It really is the magic. It's my favorite part. But I won't go on forever and ever here. I'm going to turn it back to Kari and we'll field some questions. Thank you all again. And virtual applause for our coaches panel, please. Thank you.
Very good, Sarah. Thank you for that. I appreciate your remarks just now. And really, I really do appreciate all of you, Jay and Crystal and Katina and Jamie, Shanae, Grace, Miranda, all of you for your thoughtful responses. And just, it reminds me also, as we just continue on, yes, we're going to get to this important Q&A segment, but it just reminds me how much of this process really is much more of a marathon than it is a sprint, right? I mean, this is something that can take time, but we can see the progress. And so I'm just really appreciative also to all of our colleagues at both Family Success Centers 1 and 2 have really taken on this ambitious endeavor to help us as we work in our community. So again, please accept my thanks as well. Now, I know our audience must be ready at this point to ask some of their good questions. And so here now is an opportunity to do this, and we will do our very best to answer your questions as you pose them. I know we made a big deal about muting yourselves and making sure that your lines were muted and so on and so forth. But now we're going to relax that a little bit. And so you can pose your question in one of two ways. You can, as we pointed out before, you can put something in the chat box and we'll try to field those from the chat box. Or if you feel so inclined, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and pose your question and verbally. Now, just be mindful that when that happens, someone might be unmuting right at the same time. And so now you find yourself kind of competing to get your question out. So we'll just want to be aware of each other in this virtual environment, but you can try to do that way as well. So again, you can either put a question or two in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and we'll try to field those and get those into the right hand. So now the floor is open for your good questions. So let's see if anyone has anything top of mind that we can try to answer for you. Oh, come on. We're not all that shy, are we? Huh? Come on now. Any questions for our colleagues, our Family Success Center colleagues, some of the coaches, for Sarah Glover, who leads the work. Frank McCain is on the line as well, who is Vice President of our CII department. Any questions?
Or reactions, comments.
Or reactions. That's good.
I have a question.
All right, go for it.
So like in practicality, oh my gosh, my dogs might start barking. In practicality, like how does your interaction, what's a typical interaction you would have during the day with your client at the FSC? And are you you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the typical interaction you have with them? How much time do you spend with one client during the day, just practically? Did that question make sense?
Yes, like a typical day in a coach or per client, like
Yes.
per member.
Yes.
Any coaches volunteering to answer that? If not, I'm going to call on Jay.
Okay. All right. Well, I will
Oh,
say
wait,
this. Okay.
someone was speaking.
It depends on that personal needs. Some, you can sit and get a lot of information and address certain situations within, 30 minutes to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, but it always depends on that person's need. Everyone needs something different. They need a little more time. Sometimes it takes more sessions to get a little bit out of them while you're working and building your relationship to build that rapport. So it all varies based on that particular person and their need.
Thank you, Shanae. Jay, do you have something you would add to that?
Yes, I think we have two different phases. The phase of the pandemic phase is, it could be 30, 40 minutes on a Zoom call or something of that nature because you're dealing with a crisis situation. But face-to-face before COVID, it's set up like, I call it a sanctuary because some things have to do with the interaction of the classroom and studies, and other has to do with just sort of a counseling section. Somebody may come in today with a crisis situation that they have to be evicted out of their homes by Friday. That takes precedence over the class that they're supposed to be in that particular day because no one can concentrate on studying when they don't know if they're going to have a home to turn to. So it takes different forms, but the thought of is that we're going to be there for whatever the case may be because they make this place their homes. And when we use the word family, that's what it really means. It means that we're connected, as they mentioned, to deal with all the issues that may come up in life. Because even though we're pushing individuals to self-sufficiency, there's still life taking place. And we have to be readily available to address those needs as they come.
So
Thank you. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. Great presentation, both FSC staffs. I do want to bring to the attention of those on the line two things. Number one is that to Kari's point, this is a marathon. And we did not and should not expect success overnight. But what we have done is we have seen tremendous success over the last 7 years that we've been at this work. We've learned from it as a team. And one of the things that we know now is that once we get people to what we call the finish line, the ultimate goal, obviously, is for people to be able to gain employment. Employment that will provide a self-sufficiency standard of living. And so we now have taken an additional step to try to help members of our Family Success Center by hiring someone whose only focus is going to be to help us to create an employment pipeline for members of our Family Success Centers and a future network that we're trying to, that we're going to implement later this year. So the point I want to make is if there are those of you who are on the phone who are in positions to be able to employ people from the Family Success Center or know others that are, we are interested in hearing from you to have a conversation to see if we can align the skill sets of our members with your place of employment. The second thing I want to mention is that replication is a form of flattery. And most recently, we have been working, most specifically, Sarah has been working sort of in a consultative type role with another United Way in Colorado. The United Way Peak, I think they call them United Way Peak Valley, but it's
Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak, thank you. It's in Colorado Springs. They have now decided had been working on an FSC for their community that they're going to be opening up very soon. And that model is mirrored after our work here in Greensboro, North Carolina. So the work that we're doing here is transformational, is innovative, is very unlike what most communities have. And so we need to realize and appreciate the fact that we really, really are making a difference. And now we're serving as a best practice for other organizations around the country to follow.
That's a great comment, Frank. Thank you for underscoring those points. Especially, I like that. That replication is a form of flattery, right? I like that. Yes, sir. I could not agree more. This is good. And any other, and actually that addressed you raising that addressed a question that Michael Cottingham sort of snuck into the chat there. So that's good about the replication. Any other questions? Anyone? Feel free to unmute yourself or put something in the chat box. Anybody? All right. I'm going to take that to mean that we provided such comprehensive information along the way that everyone is just full and satisfied with the information. Anyway, but thank you all for that. We do have one, Lucinda Glover writes, thank you for the wonderful work you all are doing. And as you pointed out, actually seeing success motivates one to keep on, whether it's the counselor or the counselee who experiences the progress. So keep up the extremely important work. So thank you for that reaction and thank you for that feedback.
Kari, Susan McDonald had a question.
Oh, great. Go ahead.
I did.
Thank you.
And we've maybe been a little bit out of the loop, but when all this started, the funding and fuel for the Family Success Centers was independent of United Way. So it's part of United Way, but because it was, pilot, new idea, et cetera, it was separate. And I guess my question is that still the case? And really my question is, what are your funding sources? I mean, you've got private sources, government sources, but what are your primary sources of funding? And is money coming from the United Way itself?
So Susan, I want to be sure I'm understanding your question. The Family Success Centers have had the pleasure of receiving investment from private investors such as yourself. There are foundations that have also contributed to the pot as well. So those are, I would say, the two primary, whether it's private investment or the investment from foundations. And so that, those are the primary. And then also too, we will, you may know that we received a very large gift, not specifically for Family Success Centers, but to support our work in general from Mackenzie Scott. And so we will also look to add some support from that as well. But that really is the blend of funding that is supported historically the Family Success Centers in the past and also going forward.
Okay, thanks. It was a good reminder.
Sure. Thank you. And by the way, I think we're close to closing out here. I do want to the McDonald's. I see you on and many others as well. Judy White is on the line. It's hard for me to sort of scroll through and see everyone who is logged in, but Sue Smith, Catherine Burnett, these are all of you have been very special investors in our work. Everyone here, I want to be clear, everyone here is important and we do thank you for coming, but an extra special thanks to you, McDonald's, and others who I've named who have provided some extra special support along the way. We really do appreciate all that you have done to help us bring about the success of our Family Success Centers. Okay. Sarah, did you have something else? I see you put something in the chat, I think.
Yes, I was just going to say that someone asked me privately if we were sharing the recording and or the PowerPoint slides, and I understand that, yes, we are planning to make that available to you.
All right, so we'll give it the old college try. One last before we close out here. Any other final questions, thoughts, reactions before we close out our time together this morning? Anyone?
Hey, Kari, can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Well, once again, let me say thank you for everyone on this call because, we've asked you not only to give to us financially and be great investors, but we've also asked everyone to share the family success story. And by you sharing that story with your friends, family, coworkers, and other businesses, you've allowed us to continue that funding. And the funding, it has been very strong because of the efforts, not only of the investors that have already given to us, but the stories that are coming out of the Family Success Center and the coaches' stories. Because, you know, I think, Susan, you said a long time ago, it's about the people, and the people are showing what we can do here at the United Way's Family Success Center. So thank you for investing, but also thank you for telling people about the Family Success Center, sharing the Family Success Center. As you know, we're doing virtual tours, and hopefully very soon we'll do in-person tours again, but getting more people to know about what we're doing right here in Greensboro that is now a best practice and being replicated across the country. Thank you, Mari.
Yep, good comment, Nadine. Thank you. And Catherine Burnett saw your message there in the chat. Again, we thank you. Catherine's with us with the Phillips Foundation, and again to Susan McDonald, kind of helps to answer the question about that broad support that we get. So we have different foundations, including Phillips and others, Weaver and others, Seymour, and of course you, the McDonald's and others on the line that I have acknowledged. So just thanks to everyone. We all have a stake in this work. Some of us invest in different ways with resources, both human, financial, brain power, long hours of work, and so on and so forth. So just thanks to everyone for the way that you have pulled together over these, it's been almost 7 years now, I think, to the day almost, that these family success centers have been up and running. So thank you for making such significant investments in our work. I'd like to make one big point here. And that is that the Family Success Center model, the unique combination of strategies invented here in Greensboro, that model has been shared at national conferences a couple times by our staff. And then Frank and Sarah also talked about how it's being replicated as well, starting out in Colorado. And so as one result, the United Way in Colorado Springs, as you know, as I've just said, and Frank and others have said, they have consulted with us, and we expect them to launch their own FSC later this year. I think Frank said it best when he said that replication is the highest form of flattery. And so if that is any evidence at all that we are on the right track, I would say it would be very difficult for me to imagine how someone would want to replicate our work if it was not really producing the kind of impact that we had hoped that it would. I know I've also said it before, but I want you to hear us again very plainly that we simply cannot do any of this work without you. And there are different ways to get plugged in, and you all have done that very well over the last 7 years. So thank you. So as we make our way into this new year of 2022, we hope that you have been inspired to continue your support of our work. If there's anything that you ever need or anything that you want to ask, please reach out to us, right? That's the only way that we can know what's on your mind and really respond very specifically to the things that are on your heart. We are here to serve you and certainly to serve this community. And so before we officially close today's meeting, I just want to let you know about a few upcoming events. Now, first of all, on February 16th, just about a month from now, we will be hosting a virtual Greensboro Mayoral Forum. And during that forum, the incumbent, Nancy Vaughn, and the candidate who will be challenging Justin Outling will provide us with their perspectives on poverty and our work in the future. Okay, so this is a non-partisan convening. This is just, and it's really not a debate, but it is an opportunity for both candidates here, both the incumbent and the challenger, to share their perspectives about poverty in general and our work to combat poverty as well as the future. So we hope that on February 16th, you will not miss that and that you'll join us. And then the second thing is that we certainly want you to be aware of the United Way of Greater Greensboro Centennial birthday celebration. That is to say that on March 1st, we will be celebrating the 100th year of the existence of United Way of Greater Greensboro. And we have some special activities really throughout the entire year, but kicking off on March 1st at our United Way office on 1500 Yanceyville Street. So we hope that you will keep that in mind as well. And we'll be sending out all sorts of announcements about those activities starting March 1st and through the year. So please make plans to join us as we will unveil an office installed 100-year history timeline that is currently being prepared and that we will unveil on March 1st. We will also announce an official City of Greensboro proclamation and in connection with our Centennial year. We'll give you a calendar listing of our exciting 100-year event celebrations that will take place throughout the year, as I pointed out. And some of those events will also include that we're going to plant a centennial tree, and we're going to eat some cake, and we're going to drink some coffee and have a good time safely. And so we hope that you'll make time to be with us, but I promise you wouldn't want to miss these opportunities, okay? In addition, on March 16th, we'll be kicking off our virtual educational and inspirational Theories of Change. That's the Centennial series that will be hosting some heavy hitters, right? We're going to have, for example, Dr. Mary Jo Cagle, who's CEO of Cone Health. We're going to have Eric Aft, the CEO of Second Harvest Food Bank. Brent Christensen will join us, the president and CEO of the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, and on and on. And so they'll join us for March 16th, and hope that you'll make plans to participate as well. I will be leading them through a panel discussion that will address our hope of a future without poverty. Can you imagine that? A future without poverty? That's what we're really looking for. And we'll be looking at the roles that all of us really have to play in a coordinated effort to make that future a reality. So again, March 16th, hope that you'll keep that on your radar as well. But be on the lookout, please, for a follow-up email that will contain the information I'm sharing now and how you can RSVP for any or all of these events. So as we move into this new year, we have a lot to celebrate, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you again. And as always, I like to say, onward and upward. Take care, everybody, and thanks for joining us. So long.